Let's begin by telling you that security issues in the country seems to be at the ebb, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betokun, has ordered the deployment of tactical operatives and assets to ensure the prompt rescue of the kidnapped medical students in Benue State. 20 medical students of the University of Maiduguri and Jos traveling to Enugu were kidnapped along the Otukpo-Tukpa-Enugu Road on Thursday. The students were traveling for the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students Annual Convention in Enugu when they were abducted. Condemning the students' abduction in a statement on Saturday by the force spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi, the IG described the action of the criminals as reprehensible and callous. The former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has called on the government to declare war against insecurity following incessant reports of kidnapping sweeping across the country. In a statement on X on Saturday, Obi called for bold action, collective resolve, and a united front against insecurity. In his outcry, that comes less than 24 hours after the kidnapping of the Anambra State Commissioner for Youth Development, Patrick Agamba, and his wife, who were kidnapped at the Kogi axis on their way to Abuja for the wedding of Governor Chukwuma Soludo's daughter. The commissioner's kidnapping incident comes hours after police authorities said that about 20 medical students had been kidnapped in Benue State while heading to Enugu State. Human rights organization Amnesty International has alleged that more than 1,000 end bad governance, hunger and hardship protesters are being held in various prisons across the country. The organization accused the Nigerian authorities of escalating a crackdown on peaceful protesters by arraigning over 1,000 protesters in court. The protest, held from August 1 to 10, took a twist and turned violent in some states, especially in the north. Some of the protesters were also seen holding the Russian flag while chanting "Tinubu must go." The police announced it had arrested some of the sponsors of rioters who hoisted foreign flags and called for a change of government in states such as Kano, Kaduna, and Zamfara, among others. 7 Polish citizens allegedly linked to the violent protests were also part of those arrested. Now to this. A section of the popular Kaura Modern Market, located opposite the Prince and Princess Markets in the Kaura district of Abuja, was on Friday night gutted by fire. The fire, which reportedly started at about 11 p.m., razed about 40 shops with items such as foodstuff, appliances, and household items lost in the inferno. Confirming the incident, the acting director of the FCT Fire Service, Amiola Adebayo, on Saturday stated that the fire was caused by an electrical spark on a power changeover installed in one of the shops, further aggravated by a generator kept inside the shop where the fire started. Now, our correspondent Joshua Imarayi joins us live for updates. Joshua, thank you so much for joining us. Kindly give us an update on the fire incidents in Kaura.
Well, I'm currently at the Kaura market opposite the Prince and Princess Estate here in Abuja. And as you can see, the gate is shut and it's under lock and key. But on getting here, we met the entire situation under calm and control, and we met security men of the contracted by the management of the market who are stationed here guiding the market. And according to what they said, the situation was brought under control in the early hours of today, particularly around 2-3 this morning, and everything seems all right. But however, on getting here, we tried speaking with some of the security men who have been stationed here, and they categorically told us that they don't have the express approval to speak with pressmen. And they gave us the number of the HOD of the market, the HOD of operation, as well as the manager of the market. And on speaking to the manager directed us to the head of operations of the market, who told us that the security men truly do not have clearance to speak with pressmen. But quizzing him on phone, he categorically told us that the fire started around 9, particularly around Friday 9 p.m. in the night, and lasted through the hours of the late hours of yesterday to the early hours of this morning, and the fire was spotted by one of the security men on ground, who saw the fire and tried controlling the fire with a fire extinguisher. But according to what they said, that the fire was propelled and was made complicated by generator set, as well as some methane gas from the fridge and some appliances in the shop. So that is what we have concerning here.
Well, it seems the managers at the market have been coy with details that is needed to be shared. But then 40 shops were affected. What about the shop owners? What have they said so far as regards this?
We've not really gotten across to the shop owners, but what we are relying on is the testimony of the head of operations in the market. And what he's telling us is that they don't really have an official statement as to this scenario. He's just giving me a scrape of the surface. And what we have, according to him, is that the particular people affected by the inferno are being contacted, and an assessment of the entire case is being made, that shortly, maybe tomorrow or next tomorrow, or particularly Monday, a complete information concerning the traders and those affected by the fire will be made to the public.
Before I let you go, Joshua, I'd like to find out, looking at the size of the market, would you say that the fire covered a large expanse, or is just a particular section? If we are talking about 40 shops, how devastating it was?
Well, according to what the manager, the head of operations of the market said, he said that a section, I think a block, was consumed by the fire, and a number of shops ranging from 30-something, but over 30 shops was consumed and was luckily contained from entering into other blocks. And that the fire that started from one particular shop spread throughout the block and consumed some shops in the block. And the one thing that is important to note that is that those shops are open shops that are not closed by any covering at all. There seems to be a free-to-air view from outside the shops, inside the shop. So there is no barricade or no doors to the shop. They are completely open. That is why the fire spread as quick as it could.
All right, thank you so much, Joshua. We'd like to get an official statement from the authorities as regards what actually happened with the fire outbreak right there. We'll continue to, probe this matter and get more details from you. But it was nice having the updates come. Thank you so much. In the meantime, in a bid to find a lasting solution to the recurring fire outbreaks in Lagos, experts assess critical safety measures. News Central's Adebola Adeduba has more in this report.
Lagos, a bustling metropolis, has long grappled with a relentless adversary, fire. It's a recurring narrative of flames that seem unyielding. From markets to churches and filling stations, the city is caught in an endless cycle of flames. On November 5th, 2019, the popular Balogun market on Martin Street was engulfed in flames, with goods worth millions of naira reduced to ashes. At least 5 buildings were caught in an inferno on January 29, 2020. The blaze reportedly was sparked by a man pouring petrol into a running generator. Traders preparing for the festive season on December 16, 2021 were met with devastation as their shops and merchandise were consumed by fire.
In a place like church, for example, have a safety plan. Have your safety plan, let it be documented, let it contain all your list of fire safety equipment, and in case you don't have, buy all this fire safety equipment. In your church offices, have fire alarm system, have fire extinguishers, and then maintain proper housekeeping, especially in your technical areas where electrical gadgets are stored. Let there be proper housekeeping. Don't let there be cables lying around, and have an evacuation plan, because a church is a public area. There are a lot of people that are always coming. When there is fire, they can be stampede. So have a very good evacuation plan, and have someone that have been trained to follow it in case of an emergency. Also check for fuel leaks regularly. Make sure there's no leaks. control your oil spillage. If there's spillage of oil or fuel on the floor, make sure you pour full extinguisher on it so that it cannot be ignited. And then organization is very important. You see most times in Nigeria, especially when there's fuel scarcity, you see cars blocking exit and everybody coming in to buy fuel. No, let there be organization, because in case of emergency, vehicles cannot run, and then fire service vehicles cannot access the place. So,
on March 28, 2023, the news once again carried the tragic story of five-story building in Balogun Market ravaged by flames. 9th April 2024, about 14 buildings were affected by a fire outbreak in Dosomo Market in Idumota area of Lagos Island. More recently, on a Thursday morning, August 8, 2024, a fire explosion razed Mobil Oil Nigeria, a filling station located on Obafemi Awolowo Road in Ikeja. The incident led to destruction of gas tanker, cars and buses. In another tragic event, the headquarters of Christ Embassy Church in the Oregun area of Lagos was gutted by fire, resulting in significant damage to the property. Yet again, a fire outbreak that affected 14 buildings occurred in Dosomo Market in the Idumota area of Lagos State on 9th April 2024. Though the flames have been doused, a burning question lingers. What critical safety measures must churches, markets and filling stations adopt to prevent such devastating fires, ensure rapid emergency responses, and protect lives and properties?
Now, for marketplace and filling station looks similar because we have numbers of people recorded everyday activities there, and it's confined to a building. So what you are expected to do is, one, unplug all the electrical gadgets whenever you are leaving the church or you are leaving your shop, rather. So then the regular checking of aging cables and connections should be regularly checked. Using of substandard materials when you are doing your wiring stuff, your installation in your church or in your shop, to avoid using quack technicians. Go and make use of professionals. Then the filling station, you need to stop all the vehicles from operating, that is running. Stop the engine while you want to refill their tank, and also avoid smoking in the filling station premises. Also the phone calls, you minimize, you don't even use phone call when you are refilling, especially when you are dealing with LPG, which is very, very volatile and a very good explosion. Our emergency toll-free line 767-0112.
It is hoped that with stringent fire safety measures in place, Lagos tail of flames will finally be extinguished. In Lagos for News Central, Adebola Adeduba.
Many thanks for staying with us. Now, a former governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, has said he will not allow a Chinese company, Zhongshan Fengsheng Industrial Investment Company Limited, to scam Nigeria. A contract dispute between the Ogun State government and the Chinese company has led to the seizure of 3 Nigerian presidential jets. The dispute reportedly stemmed from a 2007 agreement for the development of the Ogun Free Trade Zone, which later fell apart, leading to arbitration and ultimately the seizure of the jets. Despite an independent arbitral tribunal awarding Zhongshan approximately $74.5 million, the Ogun State government has disputed the decision and has not yet honored the award. Meanwhile, the lawmaker representing Ogun East Senatorial District, Benga Daniel, has urged President Bola Tinubu to explore diplomatic channels to resolve the issues surrounding the Ogun Free Trade Zone deal. Away from that, the queues for premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, has continued in Abuja, Niger, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and many other states as the federal government threatened to withdraw the operating licenses of oil marketers involved in PMS hoarding. On Saturday, long queues of vehicles were observed at various fuel stations across the Federal Capital Territory, with many stations closed due to a lack of supply. In the Kado axis of Abuja Municipal Area Council, some fuel stations, including AA Rano, were still set to be selling petrol at 849 naira per litre, while others remained short. The petrol scarcity led to the frustration among motorists who spent several hours in queues to get the products. Still on fuel scarcity, Nigeria, a nation with crude oil as its major natural resource, battles with constant fuel scarcity. This contradiction has spurred several reactions as yet again Nigerians are having to queue for long hours to get fuel. News Central's Chidima Ona gives us more details of the situation in Lagos.
It's 5,000.
5,000 naira.
Yes, sir.
How long you wait for this line before you see fuel buy?
I don't waste like 2 hours.
The year 2024 has brought several challenges for Nigerians, especially the spiraling price of fuel and its unavailability are one of the many challenges Nigerians have had to deal with as the country faces a biting economic downturn. This recurring hitch of fuel scarcity has affected the daily lives of Nigerians, particularly in a busy city like Lagos, where slight hiccups can cause intense traffic. In areas like Ogba, Agege and Ikeja, Lagosians are stuck in long queues with tired faces.
I've been here since 5 a.m. on queue, and yet I didn't even hope if I can still get fuel. Here they sell 619. That is 619 naira. So that's what we used to buy here. Except if they have increased it today, I didn't know because I've not been there.
I did here. Around 6 o'clock, I did here, I was here. So I never buy.
I've been here since 6 o'clock. That is about 3 or 4 hours now.
Another major worry for some Lagosians are the black market fuel sellers. According to witnesses we met at several filling stations, some pump attendants request extra cash to sell fuel to motorists and are more willing to sell to black market sellers at a higher rate of about 2,000 naira per 50 liters jerrycan.
Most of these black markets, when they buy fuel, they'll go and sell it in a high price. And not only that, they can even miss anything and sell for you. By so doing, your fuel, your car engine will have issues. So that is one of the disadvantages of buying from black market, because I don't buy on black market.
If I buy the black market now, so you cannot pay me because I don't increase the money for the transporter. So I don't increase. So that's why I don't buy the black market.
Although the current fuel shortages will likely ease off, Nigerians are calling for a permanent end to the persistent scarcity, as previous actions from the government have only provided temporal solutions. In Lagos for News Central, Chidima Ona.
Economic prosperity has been described as one of the major targets of every society and state for development to thrive. These were the words of the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, while addressing the challenges faced by petty traders maintaining illegally constructed stores within the Jos Bukuru metropolis. News Central's Chizabanyowe tells us more.
Let's pack our things and went away with it. And when we got there, they will charge us to court. They will say, lock. In fact, one of my woman fellow that is selling it, they locked that woman up. They paid that woman with 10,000 naira. Those common cheating and mineral, they collected 30,000 naira. For what?
That set the tone for this report. In September 2023, the government of Plateau State, under Executive Order 003, came on board. The objective, among others, is to scrap illegally constructed stores, impound vehicles parked in wrong places, and beautify the city center. Enforcement on this order began a few months ago, with offenders asked to pay various amounts of fine to retrieve their seized items. Traders and motorists have never been comfortable with this. However, Governor Mutfwang has recently reversed the order for traders, noting the economic hardship they experience.
We have instructed that all the demolitions be halted and that we are looking for spaces to develop community markets. But you agree with us that there is no society that thrives with lawlessness. That we must therefore balance between law and order, and also ensuring that there is a economic prosperity for our people.
News Central felt the pulse of these traders based on the governor's order. but the reverse was the case.
I personally, I collected chichi, 80,000 naira. These people seal it. And when I went there, they said they took me to orphanage home. For what? For what when I have my children, I have my grandchildren? Is it a cause? Is it a crime for us to look for daily bread?
Yesterday for Jude site, they pack about 3 cars. They pack people slow. They pack 3 cars. Today, they pack 2 cars for this down this entire site. Even we said they didn't allow us to put anything. We don't have anything to eat now to give our children. We don't have anything. See our children for house are just suffering, crying, no food to give them.
I just feel like crying. We are suffering. Things are very bad. We are going through a lot. This is not what we bargained for. We were happy, we were dancing that the right governor we wanted has come. But everything just turned up to become as in so painful.
How the governor's order will see the light of the day remains their worry.
I left my house, nothing to give my children. They are crying, I just go away. I go borrow the load from market now to come and sell it. Then run to come and pick it. Now so I'm running with it since in the morning reach this time. I don't know how to do. Please, the governor should pity us and help us. If not, we don't know what we will do.
How are we going to cope? We have children to feed, we have school fees to pay. We are just struggling. Things are not easy with us. We are not happy. We are telling the governor we are not happy. He should do something about it.
He's always trying. Even ourselves, we are praising the governor that let him try more to help us to also be established in our life.
He should consider we that are operating low level. We have no money for shop, that is number one. Secondly, if there is a place he can just give us freely on his own, he should send the authority to come and do that for us.
As these traders continue to wallow in their plight, they have also continued to ask the government of the day to listen to their cries, even as they look for better ways of getting their means of livelihood. From the Terminus Main Market in Jos, Chizoba Anyonwe, reporting for News Central.
Let's bring you back to the southwest. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has commissioned the Mushin flyover, the last of the 5 overpasses built along the Red Line rail corridor. The infrastructure is expected to relieve motorists and commuters connecting Agege Motor Road from Onyekpanu of traffic and to solve congestion and delays associated with the railway level crossing at Ogumokun axis. Sanwo-Olu said the opening of the Mushin flyover was another fulfillment of his administration's promise to the residents, noting that the infrastructure had changed the face of public transportation in the state.
It might not be as quick as you want it, but we'll bring it to conclusion. And so we're here. We're here to fulfill what this government had said. We had promised Lagosians that we're going to change the face of rail public transportation in Lagos. But in doing that, we'll also be solving a lot of traffic, transportation, vehicular movement solutions for our citizens. This overpass is strategically important to ensure that that is the Mushin station right behind you, which Mr. President commissioned concurrently earlier in the year. And you know that we promised 5 overpasses. This is the 5th one that this administration has promised and we have delivered.
Back to the seat of power, residents of the Dandara community in Kurudu area of the Federal Capital Territory have called on relevant authorities to come to their aid over what they described as an attempt by an estate developer to forcefully evict them from their community. The residents who took to the streets after a recent demolition of some houses in the community said that despite a court order restraining the action of the developer, the properties of many families were still pulled down. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, reports.
Feeling distressed over the recent demolition of several houses on August the 15th, the residents of the Bandara community converged on the divisional headquarters of the Nigerian police in the Kurudu area of the Federal Capital Territory. Carrying placards, tree branches, and singing songs of solidarity, They then walked into the street where they alleged that an estate developer, under the supervision of the Nigerian police, the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, and personnel from the Correctional Service jointly conducted the demolition.
All these developers, they hide under the banner of police. They are using police, and we know the quiet order this business is a one-man business. They are terrorizing us every day within 6 month interval, within a year interval.
This land belongs to Bandara community. The place that they give police is Orozo Kerishi Road, and we have consent judgment that show us a boundary.
12,000 families are involved in this place, and we are telling the government, the Nigerian citizens of Nigeria, to hear us. The location of this community is in Kurudu, behind Lavok, behind the police estate. They have always used police name to claim this place.
They cried out about the incessant intimidation by the estate developer since 2010, with no warrant of demolition, despite a court order mandating them to suspend their actions. They called on relevant authorities to intervene.
There is hunger in the land, and you are coming to add this to us? Is it proper? Is it proper? Mr. President Jagaban, the Tinubu, the president of this nation, we are calling your attention to this matter.
They have been asking us to be bringing money. Where are we going to get 5 million? I don't have 1 million accounts. The one that we have, they say I should bring it by force. I don't have the one that I'm going to bring. I bet Wike, come and assist us.
Nigerians, we are calling Kinjibe Ireti, our FCT senator. We are calling the chairman of AMAC. We are calling the former senator of FCT, our father, Philip Aduda. We need all of you. We don't want to take laws into our hands.
They also promised to resist any further attempts to evict them if no action is taken.
We want DK to be cautioned. We want Dudon to be cautioned. We want Andy to be cautioned. We don't want to take laws into our hands.
We are not going to take it any longer. The next time they come here and bring any roof down, we are going to go to the barrack for reproach. We are going to go to the estate for reproach. We are not pretending about that. So let this serve as a warning to whoever thinks he has money and have a right in his pocket.
According to the residents, this is the third time in about 14 years that they have faced demolition of their property with the intent to evict them from their community. They said the first was in 2011 and then 2016, and now the recent demolition which took place on August the 15th. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonko Joseph.
Earlier on the news, we told you that the National Judicial Council of Nigeria has instituted a probe panel to investigate 27 High Court judges for judicial infraction and misconduct. And now we are joined by Professor of Law, Niger Delta University, Bayelsa, Perowe Subai, to help us have a legal perspective to this, so that we can have a better understanding. Thank you so much, Professor Subai, for joining us. Can you please unmute your device? We can't hear you yet. Can you please say something so that we are sure that we have audio quality from your end? Well, I don't think we have that audio level from your end so as to facilitate this discussion. But then we'll see what we can do probably before the expiration of this news. Let's move on at this point to tell you that Nigeria's federal government has been tasked to do more in ending irregular migration and human trafficking in the country. And this was during a training for actors in the faith community comprising Christian and Muslim leaders in Abuja on how to offer psychosocial support to victims and help them integrate back into the society. Amadine Uyi tells us more.
Religious faithful from both Nigeria's Christian and Muslim communities. The aim of the session was to educate religious leaders on how to give psychosocial care to migrants of irregular migration that have returned back to their country.
This entire training is a collaboration of the Lutheran Church of Christ in Nigeria and All Africa Conference of Churches, and it is basically focused on educating religious leaders or religious stakeholders from both the Muslims and the Christian perspective on psychosocial caregiving to return migrants and survivors of human trafficking.
The core objective is to have us as religious leaders, as faith actors, to be trained in how to provide psychosocial support to return migrants and also to survivors. And again, to be knowledgeable about the issue of migration, specifically irregular migration.
You find people being taken from one state to the other in large numbers, hundreds and thousands, in the name of Almajiri. That is trafficking. You find people being taken from one state to another for labor. That's trafficking. So these things have been with us, but I'm happy that this training will give further information on the need for us to pay attention to those things that happen around us.
While many believe that their experience is best told by the victims, one of them who spoke to News Central described her experience.
Through what I passed through, I wasn't thinking I would stand on my feet here today and stand this strong and also be alive today, but I still thank God because the trauma wasn't easy, seriously. I faced a lot. I seriously faced a lot because the experience, seriously, the experience is really hurting.
Those in attendance urge citizens and government to do more in ending irregular migration, which dehumanizes victims, is exploited by traffickers, and can be stemmed by better living conditions.
My call to action for stakeholders that are here today is to go back and be catalysts that will take back the message to educate people, their adherents, their neighbors, people around them, and to be peer pressure to the society or to the government as well, so that we will live up to expectation in restoring the dignity of humanity and preserving and protecting humanity from being devastated by these heinous people who prey on human existence.
The psychosocial support is there in the first place because there is irregular migration. Now the question should be, why are people migrating irregularly? Why are they leaving their comfort zone? That's what the African government should look at, then see how to make people comfortable.
They also called on government agencies responsible for tackling trafficking to work together in a bid to achieve more results. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Social media has become the easiest avenue for people to seek financial assistance from others despite their distance. This trend is made more popular by those who want to attract followers and traffic to their online platforms through the several giveaways they do. Recently, the picture of a woman in Umuahia standing with a placard on the road caused a buzz on social media. News Central's Shunwe Ogele has the details.
The inscription on the placard reads, "I need a sewing machine to start up my tailoring work," with her account details written beneath. Once her picture hit online, it elicited lots of empathy and concerns as some persons declared willingness to support her, so much so that within an hour, her story was blogged and promoted by bloggers and social media users on Facebook and Twitter. Some commenters had stated they knew her, which made it easier to locate her and hear her story. However, the reality upon arrival at her address, which turned out to be her tailoring shop, presented a sharp contrast to what was contained in her placard. Amina Simon is a seamstress who specialized in women clothing and has her manufactory at number 53 Olo Street, Umuahia, where she equally trains other ladies. In her shop are sewing machines of different kinds with other items that make such a business function, including a generating set. Why then was she requesting for sewing machine to start up when she already started?
We don't really make that money because looking at the price of fuel and price of production, the money coming in is poor.
It was her birthday, and she said she thought to use it to seek help to equip her shop better to be able to accommodate all her apprentices, especially those who are in their need.
But the most important thing is that the number of girls we have is more than the number of machines. that we have on ground. I have to do it because I'm looking at the future of these girls. I want to see if I can take out some girls from the streets because there are some of my girls that they're the ones that pay their school fees.
Again, the video of her business surprised many, especially those who promoted her story and those who already donated, that they began to ask for a refund online. Some citizens have been weighing in on the development.
If everybody, happens to also be asking for such assistance on the road like that, nobody will be available to assist.
She have to focus on the one that she have. At least, if she did not have anything that she was doing, so it is good that we help.
Others say since she was already into the business, she was better positioned to procure more equipment for herself than depending on people to help her.
So what's the other machine is she looking for? You better first start from the one you have. Maybe by the time you start making money, you can start contributing and buy other machines.
While Amina might not have followed the best approach to present her case, the economic situation in the country, which forces small businesses to shut down, might have been responsible for her action. Or maybe the several online generosity, popularly called giveaways, might have also pushed her. In Omaha for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
The ECOWAS Regional Center for Surveillance and Disease Control has reported that monkeypox continues to spread in the region, with 44 confirmed cases and 1 death recorded by the end of EPI Week 33, 2024. According to a report released on Friday, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, and Ghana are the hardest hit countries in the region. Mpox or monkeypox is a zoonotic viral disease caused by the monkeypox virus, part of the orthopox virus genus. While it shares similarities with smallpox, it is generally less severe. The virus spreads from animals to humans through direct contact with the bodily fluids, blood, or lesions of infected animals. Human-to-human transmission occurs through respiratory droplets, contact with infected body fluids, or exposure to contaminated objects. In the meantime, the African Union Health Agency says a total of 18,737 suspected confirmed cases of Mpox have been reported in Africa since the beginning of the year, including 1,200 cases in 1 week alone. The hardest hit country, the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the new Clade 1B strain was first detected in September 2023, has reported 1,005 cases. That's about 222 confirmed and 783 suspected, and 24 deaths in 1 week. All 26 provinces in the DRC, home to some 100 million people, have reported cases. The disease, formerly known as monkeypox, was first detected in humans in the DRC in 1970. A planned strike by aviation staff at Kenya's international airport has been delayed by 2 weeks to give dialogue a chance. About 10,000 members of the Kenya Aviation Workers Union had planned to walk out from August 19 over plans by the Kenyan government to strike an investment deal with India's Adani Group to expand and operate Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The union has previously opposed the deal, said it was an attempt to privatize the airport by stealth. Under the proposal, Adani would invest $1.85 billion in expanding the airport in exchange for operating it for 30 years. In business, cash payments in Nigeria are set to drop by 4% by the year 2027, according to the Global Payments Report 2024. This significant decline reflects the country's rapid embrace of digital payment methods, despite cash being the dominant payment method in Nigeria, particularly for e-commerce. The WorldPay report positions the country as a leader in cash dominance among Middle Eastern and African nations. Cash on delivery accounted for 15% of e-commerce transactions in 2023, while account-to-account payments represented 32%. However, a separate study by MoneyPoint SMEDAN, and the Ministry of Trade and Investment reveals a changing consumer landscape. The Informal Economy Report 2024 indicates that Nigerians are increasingly opting for digital payments. Cards and bank transfers emerged as the top two preferred payment methods, with 24% and 18% of consumers respectively choosing these options. Cash, once the preferred choice, now ranks third at 15.2%. In sports, Nigeria's women handball team beat Angola at the ongoing Under-18 Handball World Championship. Lekan Warriors fought from a goal down to secure a 1-1 draw against FC Daje in the CAF Confederations Cup qualifiers. Onabanjo brings us the details.
Former Under-23 Eagles captain Azubike Okechukwu has sealed a move to Turkish second division club Erzurumspor. Okechukwu, who made 13 appearances for Rizespor during the 2023-2024 season, was being sought after by another Turkish club, Kayseri Rizespor. The 27-year-old is presently training with the team pending his official unveiling. The midfielder, who has spent most of his professional career in Turkey, previously played for Yeni Malatyaspor, Istanbul Başakşehir, and Sivasspor. The former Bayelsa United star has made one appearance for Nigeria at the international level. Nigeria women's under-18 handball team defeated Angola 29-21 at the 10th edition of the IHF World Championship ongoing in Chuzhou, China. The team had previously defeated Angola in the third place of the Africa Women's Under-18 Handball Championship in Monastir last year and continued in the same stride to extend their win over one of the best teams in Africa. It was a difficult game for the team as they had to defend resolutely against the onslaught from Angola. Nigeria will now play in the classification competition known as the President's Cup in Group 1 alongside Austria, Chile, and Angola. Nigeria Women's Football League champions Edo Queens have qualified for the semi-final of the WAFU Zone B CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers after defeating Omnisports Etincelles of Rwanda 1-0 at the Stade Yamoussoukro in Côte d'Ivoire. Forward Joy Jerry's 41st minute goal for Edo Queens was the difference between both sides. Edo Queens have now qualified for the semi-finals of the WAFU Zone B CAF Women's Champions League and will be looking to put themselves in good standings to qualify for the tournament. President Federation Cup winners Lekan Warriors were held to a 1-1 draw by FC Daje of Benin in the CAF Confederation Cup qualifier at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikenne. It took 28 minutes for the visitors to break the deadlock through a fast-paced counter-attack that was cleverly finished off by Bakai. Lekan Warriors picked up the pace in the second half and eventually got rewarded at the death through a goal from Ajiji Samuel, helping the team pick up a much-needed draw to stay alive in the competition. Lekan Warriors will now set their sights on the second leg of the fixture, which is set to take place on the 24th of August. And that's a wrap on Sport Update. I am Udoka Njoko.
That's all at this hour. But before we go, we look at our top stories again. On the news, we told you that the Inspector General of Police has deployed operatives to rescue kidnapped medical students. Federal government has threatened to withdraw oil marketers' licenses over hoarding of fuel. We also told you that ECOWAS has raised alarm over the spread of Mpox in Africa. Do send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number and email on your screen. You can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Do watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekan Onabanjo.